I'm going to bet that your family doesn't go around in slides and pajamas and bonnets. Your girls don't do that.
Absolutely not. Absolutely.
I'm going to go on a limb. I bet you your boys don't go around here with do-rags and Nike Tech and slides. Is that fair?
Absolutely right.
Right. So even in that, like there's a delineation. Now,
growing and change. I remember realizing that as I was changing on the inside, I started changing on the outside before the black coat or whatever. So I just started putting on, slacks and a button-up shirt, And I remember I don't know if I told you this last time, but we were having a discussion. I have we have a group, WhatsApp group of about 90 of us, black. Everybody's black, Orthodox Jews from different slight different customs or whatever the case is. But everybody is. It started with me, a friend of mine, Zacharia, and Mari Stoudemire also too. We all started. It came from one Shabbat meal we were all having at the house, and so we ended up making this group chat, and it grew into 90 guys. So we were having a back and forth on this about dress, So one guy was saying, he wanted to keep closer to the way that he dressed, before even he came to Judaism. So he kind of, kept with the baggy jeans, Timbos, whatever the case was. And he was getting on me because the route that I came in and the rabbis I came into, I dress in a black long coat. I wear a hat. I wear a strimal, whatever, like the furry hats, with other stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And so, but I usually go with a hat every day, And so as he's going back and forth, so I pull up this video in the 1930s, Oklahoma, black people coming out of a bank business meeting. And guess what? They all dressed like me. They got black hats on. They got long coats and suits and they're walking around like that. I said, so
right.
I don't think you're closer to what original black culture is. I think I am. I think they dress like me more than they dress like you. And so what I think by that is, that's here nor there. That's a timing thing. But I think that it's sort of forgetting who you were and who you are culturally. And sometimes we see how much the pushback is if you try to talk common sense into them. You know what I'm saying? Or at them. But sometimes you got to talk it into them. That's what I meant. And so I don't know if definitely calling things out that are public and that are destructive while they're public. But I think the actual message to people and directly, if we're directing something, has to be one of encouragement of wake up and remember who you are. You know what I mean?
I can dig that. You know what? I'm gonna take that and springboard into. I'm gonna play this clip, and I'm gonna explain why. My only pushback is when I said shame. I'm like, we have to separate it, and kind of like what you're saying here with the way that you dress. The way that you dress shows and denotes that you're not a part of a. Like, for example, I'm gonna go on a limb, Nissim. I don't know your wife. I don't know your family, but I'm gonna go on a limb. I'm gonna go. Even if you're traveling, even if you're trying to be comfortable, I'm going to bet that your family doesn't go around in slides and pajamas and bonnets. Your girls don't do that.
Absolutely not. Absolutely.
I'm going to go on a limb. I bet you your boys don't go around here with do-rags and Nike Tech and slides. Is that fair?
Absolutely right.
Right. So even in that, like there's a delineation. Now, I might not, Team Whitaker loves cruises. We will save up money to go on a cruise before we do anything else. Right. So we won't go to the Grand Canyon, but we will go to Grand Canyon.
I don't do it enough, but that's a beautiful thing to love.
I love it. But when we go, we don't, we're not tails and booted and suited, but you will never confuse Team Whitaker with the slides and the bonnets and the do-rag community. It's just never going to happen. It's never going to happen. So a lot of people have seen this, and I just think this is, to me, this is just deplorable behavior.
Right.
And so this is what happened on a Carnival cruise. This is an embarkation. You haven't even left yet. I don't know. Have you seen this?
No, I haven't seen it yet.
Oh,
maybe it's one of those older ones. Let me see if I
No, this happened just recently.
Oh no, I for sure ain't seen it.
You trying to get on the boat.
Hey, move. Watch out, watch out, watch out, watch out. Watch out, watch out. I need my shoes. I'm gonna go to jail.
That's an understatement.
I need my shoes.
Oh,
Let me get my shoes. What's the matter? See right here. Let that go.
I don't know if you see it. I'm gonna stop. Darn it! This
that's
lady has
horrible.
one of
I
those
can see it.
stands.
I'm
Right, she
looking
got
at
one of those stands, bruh. She got one of the line stands about to swing it. And so my point is, like, I'm not gonna watch the whole rest of it because it's just I think I made my point. Like,
Be
we have
careful
to
what
separate
shoes you
ourselves
get.
from that. We
Right.
can't allow ourselves to get even considered amongst that kind of foolishness.
You're
So if
1,000%
that means
right.
that I'm gonna have to do long coats and a hat everywhere I go to make sure that you understand, I'm not rolling with y'all. Like
Right.
you are another breed.
Can I
You're
tell you something
different.
fascinating?
Please.
So coming from my background, I noticed the difference in when I changed by now, forget about the way people outside of Black culture treated me, right? So
Mhm.
very, very often, I don't know how it is in Atlanta. I have a friend who's from Atlanta actually. So I would have to ask him, but usually for sure in New York and a lot of big cities or whatever, you have affluent and usually Jewish community, very close to a Black community or ethnic or whatever the case is. And so even as I was, growing and changing, I remember realizing that as I was changing on the inside, I started changing on the outside before the black coat or whatever. So I just started putting on, slacks and a button-up shirt, and I remember coming back saying my experience at the gas station is so much more different with the slacks and the shirt on from other Black people.
Yep.
People in the hood was treating me differently, right? So like I remember going to the gas station all the time. Like it's one of those things, and if you know, looking at somebody for too long could be the cause of death. You understand what I'm
Correct.
saying?
Yeah.
Staring and all that other stuff like that. So you do what you got to do, but don't look at nobody too hard or whatever the case is. And so there's a certain discomfort when somebody comes in and they got that energy. They look the look, they got that energy. They come into the gas, whatever the case is, or whatever. And if you dressed a certain way, they're gonna look you up and down if they don't know you. If you are not from that hood, if they haven't met you or they pass through, they look you up and down because of that way. As opposed to, I'm telling you, the response is I start putting on, slacks and I start putting on a shirt because I was changing on the inside. I naturally didn't want to associate with who I used to be.
Very good.
Right.
Very good. Yeah.
And so when I'm in the store, people are like, "Oh, sir, you wanna go?" Whatever. Same people from the hood. They start calling me sir. I became sir because I put on slacks and a shirt. So how much more so should we be, very cognizant of the way we present ourselves, because we treat each other differently when we dress a certain way.
Right.
A man with a suit in the hood is treated differently than a person who's dressed like he's from the hood. Right. So
correct.
it proves it tells on itself that we value a person differently based on the way that they present themselves.
No, I'm right there with you. And I think we could go a long way to consider that. But I do think it's not just an external change. It has to be, as you said, as you were changing inwardly, the inward manifestation, what comes out of the mouth is what's in the heart. And I think that outward manifestation has to be an inward change.
Right.
Before just saying, "Oh, let me just put on a suit," because you go back to the 20s, they were gangsters wearing suits.
That's right.
And Tommy guns, right? So that doesn't make you, doesn't make you free of problems. It has to be something that happens on the inside that is shown on the outside. Thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of the JWhit Podcast. If you enjoyed today's show, please do me a favor and hit me up with that 3-piece special. Like the video, subscribe, and of course, share it with somebody who would also enjoy this type of content. And make sure you leave a comment because I do pin the best comments to the top. So thank you so much for tuning in today. And until next time, everybody, grace and peace.